Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to the channel. My name is Lindsay, and this is Life with Lindsay. Today, we have a WIP Chat. If you don't know what a WIP Chat is, that is when I work on my current work in progress, WIP, and you can work on whatever it is that you are working on. Pull out another craft project, listen to me while you're driving, on your way to work, at work, household chores, whatever you want. There is no right way or wrong way to WIP Chat. My husband has very graciously let us all know that he is not recording a WIP Chat right now. However, you will hear him in the background. He is currently working on boxes, so you hear lots of plastic crinkling and tape and stuff like that, so that's him. So I am currently working on Angel de los Muertos for the Mexican DP-Along. If you don't know what it looks like, this is the image. I'm working on a really big area. If you guys ever hear, I often call myself a free-range diamond painter because like this skull on its own is like 20 by 25. And I have a little bit of the bottom of the sleeve of her top or dress that I haven't done yet. And that's kind of just how I'm working. I just have a big area and I'm just going for it. So if you are new here, hi, welcome. I'm Lindsay. I thought my husband was talking to me. He's talking to himself. You're good. He's good. You're good. We're all good. Anyway, I'm Lindsay. And hi, welcome. Thanks for being here. I hope that you enjoy this. If you do, please make sure to like and subscribe for those who are coming back for the however manyth time. I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you. Come take a ride on the Hot Mess Express. So, I am currently placing... This kit came with two ABs. A white one and a blue one. And the blue is placed a little bit in this part and this part of the sugar skull. However, I have gone all out and I am doing a ton of modifications and swaps. So I hope this doesn't look dark because I have I have my ring light turned down just a little bit and my fan definitely just died. Cool. Just sat down and my fan died. It's going to be that kind of WIP Chat, huh? You know what's crazy? I was just over there plugging in, if you guys like to light candles, I have a rechargeable, like USB rechargeable flameless lighter, and it's fantastic, but it tells you it has a really long, like, battery life, and it does not. So, I actually just plugged that in, and I almost thought, maybe I'll bring that fan. I have two fans. Maybe I'll bring that fan over here. Then I'm like, no, I haven't used this one much, so it should still have a lot of juice. Joke's on me. I'm, what, 3 minutes in? Something like that? It's going to be a long WIP Chat, unless I get up. But anyway, so this canvas came with a white and a blue, and I have added 2 different shades of red, ABs, red quad cubes, green crystals, yellow ABs, and I just ordered some blue crystals and some sparklers as well. So, this is the first canvas I've ever, like, really jazzed up. Maria should be proud of me. Randy should be proud of me. I blame you guys. I blame all the people who are like, no, the more the merrier. But anyway, so here I am working on this. I may at some point have to actually get up and get that fan. Because even though...
I'm up. What do you need?
My fan, please.
I needed to grab something anyway, so...
Look at that. Isn't my husband the best, you guys? It's on the floor. It's plugged in. So this is the fan I was using.
I'm going to take the second fan over.
Shut up. And then this is the fan I'll be using. Probably has a lot of dust on it, but you know. So if you guys hear that happening... It's funny, we were talking to his dad tonight on the phone, and I'll get into all the drama with the HVAC stuff in a moment, but what temperature do you guys keep your air conditioning at? Let me know down below. Like, this is real talk.
To mid-August, so like the hottest
time
of the year.
Because his dad thought we were crazy when we said we keep it around 72, which in all honesty, we probably keep it lower than that as well, but we have a 3-story house, and it could be set to 68 degrees and it's still hot up here because it just doesn't push out the air on the 3rd floor the way it does on the other floors. But his dad's like, yeah, 76 to 78 is a good temperature. And I'm like, no wonder it's always hot every time we're at your house. So, anyway, it's nice. Today's like in the 70s. So we're starting to get down into like the more fall type temperatures, and I've got a candle going. I am ready for it. I love the fall. I love Halloween. So anyway, this is a super long tangent, and if you guys are curious to know what I did this week, well, stay tuned. So, before I get into like what I've been up to, which if you guys are new here, my WIP chats are pretty much like a weekly recap of like real life with Lindsay. I mean, this is still my real life, but this is just me filming it. You know what I mean? Anyway, so, I've been having issues with YouTube. I don't know if anybody else out there who is a content creator is having issues. The checking process. So if you upload a video, typically the way it works is YouTube has an automated system and it automatically scans your content to see if there's anything that is copywritten. So if your audio goes through the system and it comes back that it belongs to somebody and you don't have the rights for it, that's how you end up with a copyright strike. This process normally takes a few minutes. So by the time it's done uploading in HD, it's already long since gone through that process. It is taking 20 hours for all of my videos to go through this process. Now, can I make them go live even though it's still in the checking process? Yes. But it's my understanding, and if I'm wrong, somebody feel free to correct me. But if you get flagged before your video goes public, you can adjust whatever it is, and it won't be a copyright strike on your account. And you don't have to fight. Like, it's much easier. And as somebody who really enjoys having their own channel and outlet, I would really not like to have any copyright strikes on my channel, especially ones that could get my channel shut down. So I have been waiting super, super impatiently for these checks to go through. So my upload schedule over the last couple days has been insane because I've been trying, like I tried to get a PR unboxing up, which if you guys haven't seen it, I will link it up in the eye. It was my very first PR unboxing for a budget-friendly company, and I wanted to have it up like 2 days sooner than I did, and I didn't because of the checking process. And like when I tell you it took 20 hours, like literally took 20 hours. Like not just like, oh my God, it took a really long time and 6 hours later I'm calling it 20 hours. So because of that, it screwed up the rest of the things I wanted to upload. So hopefully this will go up in its normal time slot, which tends to be Mondays. But again, we shall see, you guys. But yeah, I uploaded a couple videos, some family-friendly stuff. So if you were looking for that, I will add the other video I put up this week, which is like kids crafts, but family-friendly kids crafts that you can do with a tiny human in your life. So anyway, this week has been an interesting week. Today is Sunday. I'm recording this on Sunday. And today we did a whole lot of nothing. We did go get boxes printed for my husband. We usually do that like once a week-ish, depending on how many orders he has going out at a time. And then a nice little Starbucks. You guys, I placed an order for Starbucks because I really wanted one of the caramel apple macchiato, whatever they're called. And I placed the order, and it sent it to a different location across town. So, like, we literally waited for, like, 25 minutes for Starbucks. And then the guy's like, we don't have that order. If you can cancel the other one, we can fulfill it here. And, like, we were stuck in the drive-thru. So, even if we didn't want to go through it, like, we were already in it. And I called the other location. They're like, yeah, we made that a while ago, so we can't cancel it. I'm like, cool. So, it's never defaulted to that location, so I'm kind of annoyed, but it is what it is. And then we got them, and they were not great today. They were much better the last time we got them. Anyway.
I got one yesterday.
Yeah, my husband got one yesterday. My daughter dismantled one of her toys and took the batteries out. And they were in her bed with her. And I was super, super pissed about that. Like, super pissed. Because she knows better. And the fact that it was in her bed means, like, she was laying with it and playing with it. And she doesn't understand, like, if she had ingested that. And these are AA or AAA batteries. They're not the little, like, button batteries. But she should not have been able to easily access them. And she took the screw. Somehow, she pulled on it hard enough that the tiny little screw that keeps the batteries in the battery holder, it came out. I was so pissed. I was so pissed. So my husband took my daughter to go get Starbucks yesterday while I sat at home and just dicked around on my phone. I'm pretty sure I, like, watched Instagram Reels and Married at First Sight. Anyway, so this past week, Monday, Tuesday. Ooh, shit. Sorry. Just flung my tweezers across my canvas in case anyone was curious. So Monday, we had OT for the first time with our OT in person. Now, if you guys have been here long enough, you've heard me talk about this. This is our second OT. The first OT was garbage. Literal garbage.
Hot garbage.
And she is the OT assigned to where we live. We get county-based services that are through the preschool program for free because my daughter has qualifiers. And that's fine. So her OT is like, I don't know if they'll be able to send me to your house or not because I'm not your OT, but I'm within a half hour, so I think that should be fine. Now, keep in mind, my appointment is Monday morning. She's emailing me at, like, on Saturday, and I'm like, there's no way your supervisor is going to come out of the woodworks on a Sunday night and approve this. Well, approved or not, she showed up, and it was great. We had a really good time. She worked, damn it. She worked really well with my daughter. No, inevitably, every time I put away a color, I realize a huge chunk that I missed. So, yeah. And in case anyone's curious, I don't diamond paint with tweezers. But for some reason, when I single piece AB drills, this is the easiest way for me to do it now. But you would never catch me doing, like, an entire diamond painting like this. So anyway, she was here. Whether she was supposed to be or not, I don't know. And she's kind of mean, but, like, in a good way. I don't know. I don't really know how to describe it. Like,
I don't think she's mean. I just don't think she has a personality.
No, I think that she was, like, intentionally, I don't think mean's the right word, but she is intentionally a little,
she's a little too matter of fact.
Not emoting. But she's doing that on purpose. I don't think, like, in her everyday life she's like that. I think, like, with her kids she is. Okay, well, I didn't ask you your opinion.
Here, let me get your fan.
Anyway, so where did that go now? You guys, I'm losing my mind. I think, yes. So, so she worked on some stuff with Briar, and she's like, so I have to tell you, and I'm like, oh, great, here we go. She's like, I don't think that your daughter has any delays in fine motor skills. And I'm like, okay. I'm just going by what you guys assessed her with, but nobody's seen my kid in person other than her speech teacher, who doesn't check on my kid's motor skills because it's a speech-based program. So I was like, okay, as long as they're not going to say, well, she doesn't need services then, like, I'm cool with whatever it is you guys are saying until my kid needs to get a reevaluation, which is, I believe, isn't for a while. But she did some stuff with her. She did really good. She was, like, drawing circles. I was like, who is this kid? She was drawing straight lines. I'm like, she does not do that with us at all. Like, she's definitely gotten better holding markers and things like that, but I've never seen her draw, like, good lines and circles. Not that there's anything wrong with the lines and circles she was drawing before, but they weren't age appropriate. Damn it. Just found another one of that drill. This is why.
Do it this diamond painting thing.
Yeah, you know, I was talking to someone tonight, And it's talking about people who are like self-appointed experts. I'm not one of them. So the fact that people are like asking me for my opinion on things still blows my mind. I've been doing this for a while, but I've not been doing this as long as a lot of other people, and I am by no means an expert. I just do what I do, and I figured out what works for me and what doesn't. Anywho, so she was like, well, how's potty training going? And I'm like, oh, it's not. If you guys heard before, I was saying, like, we had a day where it started out well, and then it just ended up with my daughter standing in a pool of her own pee, asking why the floor was wet and not realizing it's because she peed herself. So there's real controversy in the parenting world of like whether pull-ups are worth it or not. In my opinion, they're not worth it, but if they work for you, you do you, boo. But basically, pull-ups are just diapers that go up and down. They're not really teaching your child how to actually potty. But she said it's been years since she recommended it, but she thinks it would benefit my child because guess what, everyone? She finally recognized that my kid has sensory issues, which I've been saying since day one. So these are special pull-ups that get cold. They give them a cooling sensation when it's wet to help kids who need that extra little boost of like, hey, you went to the bathroom, realize that they went to the bathroom. So we're going to have to start that in a few days. It's really hard because we can't start potty training and being consistent with it when we know we have to go out of town or we have ice skating. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't really feel like sending my kid to the ice rink in underwear and then having to change frozen underwear while she's out there. And I mean like frozen, not like let it go, let it go. Don't sue me, Disney, anymore. They've never sued me. I don't know why I just said it like that. But anyway. So, that was the thing. She's like, I don't even know if they still make them. So, it tells you how little she is recommending these to parents. But, I'm hoping that that helps because, like, that's the biggest thing with us is that the reason she's not potty trained is because she doesn't understand the feeling of having to go or the sensation of I've already gone, because the day that she peed herself so many times in a row, like she was so confused and I was like, girl, you're like, do you not feel that your underwear's wet? And she's like, what? It's not registering with her. And so it's definitely making things more complicated. But the state of Pennsylvania reinstated every student, regardless of age, is required to wear a mask in a school setting. And this is not an up for debate thing, but my hopes is that there will be enough families that are outraged by it, that they drop out of the program that we applied to, and that we can come off the waiting list. I have no backup plans for preschool because my kiddo can't be sent to a traditional preschool because she is not potty trained as of yet. So, you know, there's a lot of emotion behind it because, like, we really want our kid to go to school, but we're also scared for her because things aren't getting better, they're getting worse. But if the opportunity arises and we finally get off the waiting list, we're not going to withhold that from her because she desperately needs the social interaction. And I also think that that will help her potty training when she sees all of her peers being able to do it. Or most of her peers, I should say. I don't know if there's other kids that are not potty trained in the class. So, but I like that one of her teachers is like, well, what are you going to do if she doesn't get in? Exactly what we're doing right now. Just hoping that she eventually gets in. I don't know. There's really no backup plan here. And unfortunately, it is what it is. And I hate saying that, like, so laissez-faire about my kid, but I don't have another option. So, you know, but because this is a holiday week, if you guys are watching this in current time, it is Labor Day weekend. So my Friday session that we were supposed to have had to be moved to Thursday because Friday they were off, and then Monday they will be off for Labor Day, but we got the remnants of Storm Ida, so we ended up missing our Thursday session because of the rain. My kid is on the school schedule, so if the school has a delay for weather, if it's a 2-hour delay and I have an early morning session, that session just gets canceled. So her one class would be canceled, the other one would still be on, and then if there's like no school, then we don't have sessions. So that was Monday, and then Tuesday we went ice skating, and we actually had a really busy Tuesday, which is funny because I try to write down at the end of the day like what we did so that come time to film I can remember what it is I wanted to talk about. And I said to my husband, like, we didn't do anything Tuesday, right? And he's like, yeah, we did. And then we started talking about it. I'm like, oh yeah, we had actually a pretty busy Tuesday. So we found out that her ice skating coach should be back soon. However, they let the assistant coach run the session, and it was just Briar and one little boy who's the same age as her, which oddly enough, we thought that kid was like a year older than Briar, and he's actually like 2 weeks younger than her. But they were out there, and you could tell that they were having a heavy conversation about what, I don't know, probably Paw Patrol, if I had to guess.
Face it, we know what it was about.
And the way we know is our daughter is super, super animated, and her hands get going when she's talking. So we'll see her out on the ice, and her hands will be like, you're like, what are you doing? And then you're like, oh, she's clearly talking to him about something. But, and they're cute together. But she did that, and then we went to, and she did really, really well. They actually had her do one exercise where they stand up on one of their feet, and then they put the other leg up in the air, and Briar was so proud of herself afterwards. She's like, I did the mingo. Did you see? I did the mingo. Because flamingos stand on one leg. And we're like, good job, baby girl. She was so proud of herself, you guys, which I'm proud of her too, because that was not like a basic skill. And I don't know if he did it or not too, but she definitely did it and was super proud of herself. So then our ice rink it's like in an industrial park, and then across the street is like a shopping center. So we went to Lowe's, and I wanted to get some stuff for my plants. I needed to get potting soil. I'm terrible, you guys. I have been letting my little plant babies live in their nursery pots for like way, way, way too long. And they desperately needed to be repotted. And it's really hard to know what size pot you need when, first of all, you have no idea what you're doing. And second of all, you don't have the pot or the plant with you. Like, I can eyeball it, but let me just say I did a terrible job. But we got our plants, or our pots, and I really was looking for like a smaller terracotta pot, which I didn't find. But I got a couple other pots. I got a self-watering pot, which, you know, I don't know if it works or not, because we've been getting the remnants of the tropical storm. And now I'm pretty sure my plant is overwatered. That's another story. I'm pretty sure my fan's trying to suck up my hair. So that's good. But we got our pots and we got our soil. And this was the first time that I've ever had to transition a plant from a pot to another pot. And outside I had my pothos, my monstera, my Chinese money plant, and then upstairs I had my snake plant. And the snake plant, I took it out of the container. It was so root bound. It was insane. Like, they were bulging out. And I kind of took them apart as best I could and separated it into like a bunch of single roots instead of like all mashed up to one. So we shall see. And then the pothos was pretty easy. I just shook that one out of the old soil and just put it in the new soil. And then my monstera, So here's my problem. And if you guys are not plant people, don't worry. I'm not going to talk about this all day. I could. I really, really love plants. My husband just gave me a look. But my Monstera is not a very big plant, but the clippings that I have are really tall. So I wanted to put it in a bigger pot because I wanted something that was going to, you know, hold it. And then I put it in and I looked something up because I was like, this seems excessive. And my friend's like, yeah, they like to be pretty tight in there. And I'm like, cool. So I have to repot that one. I just need to get a smaller pot. But I got my little Chinese money plant, which has a little baby plant growing, and I told my daughter that I was going to take the little baby plant and put it in its own pot just for her. Well, I had all of the best intentions, you guys, but I could not separate it. Like, the roots just would not separate. So I'm like, and then she cried and got really upset and thought she did something wrong, which I had to explain to her. Like, this has nothing to do with you, Briar. This is everything to do with mommy can't get the plant to let go of the baby plant. I want the baby plant. No, you said I could have the baby plant. I'm like, oh my God, kid. And she was so distraught. If you guys want to know what it's like to have a small child with an anxiety disorder, the level to which my child was like distraught by the fact that she couldn't have this plant, that's what it's like. So, she helped me. We mixed our perlite and our soil, and she had a lot of fun. She made a lot of mess. She got Paw Patrol gloves, which she was super excited about. And we now just have right now it's super fancy and super official. It's just a plastic bag from Lowe's that holds all of our gardening stuff. So, yeah. And eventually I'm going to have to move these plants indoors because it'll get too cold. They're only outside because I thought it was easier for now. And then I'm going to have to repot a bunch of my succulents, which sucks. And I had to cancel my succulent subscription, you guys, which bums me out. But the last like 4 or 5 boxes I've gotten have come damaged, and they will send you a replacement totally free. But a couple of these were extras that I purchased. Like, they did a Pride collection where every month you got 2. So one was like a red and orange. The next one was yellow and green. And then you got a blue and purple. And that's great, but like they were super limited. So they don't have any more to replace it with, which I feel like you should at least have a couple replacements.
Maybe they did and other people had the same issue.
Maybe, but I just put my subscription on hold. I think what's happening is there's no air holes in any of these boxes, and all of my plants, I think, are just really struggling in the humidity, because like the one plant legit was molded. I was like, what the F? I'm not an expert, but like, a plant that's only been in a container for a few days, I don't think should be covered in mold. Maybe I'm wrong. But, ooh, it's got a weird twinge in my elbow. But anyway, we did that, and then we went to a restaurant that was down the street, and my daughter made best friends with the waitress, who subsequently has the same name as her speech teacher and one of my close friends. So she like kept calling her name out over and over again. But she was so sweet with Briar, and Briar was totally having a moment with her, and it was nice. We got to watch some of the Paralympics was on TV. Which, like, we don't keep the TV on in our house during the day at all, but I love that I could expose her to, there was wheelchair basketball, and there was a track and field event, and then biking. I think it was a cycling event for women, and they had no legs. And she was like, whoa. And I think it's important to show our kids that you know, never let anything hold you back. And not to say that, like, I'm going to compare my daughter's journey to the journey of somebody who has limb differences or anything like that. But I think it's really important for her to see that, like, there are people out there who have totally different circumstances than you and see they can accomplish anything too. And I don't know, I think she was really intrigued by it. She seems to really like sport all of a sudden. She's like, I like sport. And I'm like, okay. What sport do you like? Sport. Okay.
She always tells me when she gets older she can play baseball.
Yeah.
That's what I tell her. When I get older, I can play that.
Yeah, she wants to play baseball when she gets big. And not softball, but baseball. But that's totally from Daddy. That's true. She can, I mean, she can do whatever.
I'm like, if you want to play baseball, you play baseball. You want to play softball, you can play softball.
Yeah. So, but we did that, and then we came home and did all of the potting stuff. So that was a lot of fun. Tuesday was, like I said, a really busy day, and it's really nice that, like, where she skates is in a pretty centralized location for quite a few things. We have been finding ourselves going out to eat on Tuesdays for lunch because my kid will get out of ice skating lessons, and it's usually like 10:40, and she's like, I'm hungry. I want lunch. And if we give her like a big snack in the car, then she won't eat any lunch. So we've just kind of succumbed to the fact that, like, we just have really early lunch on Tuesdays now.
It's fine, because then we only get home, like, she has like 45 minutes before her nap.
Yeah, I mean, depending on where we go. But yeah, it just works out. And, you know, some days are easier than others. But Wednesday, we had the storm came in. And for anyone who is still dealing with or who has dealt with losses or damage due to the storms, my heart goes out to you. We watched a movie that day because it was really rainy. It was really rainy here. We got about 4 inches of rain, and thankfully our house was completely, like, unaffected. Oh, I told you guys I was going to tell you about the whole HVAC thing. So this comes back to Wednesday. So on Monday, I don't know if I even talked about this in my last WIP Chat, but literally the night before we were supposed to leave for our trip to Baltimore.
Covered it a little.
Yeah, we had an HVAC emergency. The outside, it's in our garage, but it's the closet that holds the, not water heater. What is that that's out there?
The heater, well, not the water heater, but it's the heating unit.
The furnace, thank you. And there was water all over the place. Turns out there's a pipe that was clogged, and they kept asking us, well, like, can we get into your basement? We don't have a basement. So everybody's like, what do you mean you don't have a basement? Then where's the water going to? And I'm like, I don't know. You tell me, where's the water going to? So they assume it's going into the pipes in the wall, but nobody wants to cut a hole in the wall. Fast forward to our HVAC guy comes out, and he does as much as he can. And then he tells us, like, I don't have the parts to fix. There was 2 issues. There was water leaking from a pipe, and the capacitor, the fan capacitor for our AC stopped. Which meant that if that stopped, then our air conditioning wasn't running. And, well, it's summertime, and it's hot. And that wasn't an option. So they came, and then on Monday, they called my husband, and they said, oh, we're going to have to reschedule your appointment. And we were like, we didn't.
I called them.
Yeah. Earlier in the day, he called them, and they said, oh, well, we have a tech coming out today, as if we knew that they had. And then they called later in the day to say, oh, we're going to have to reschedule. So I'm like, oh, you're rescheduling an appointment that nobody even knew was on the books but you. So Wednesday, the guy came out. It was a different guy than we had last week, but he seemed pretty knowledgeable, so that was good. And then my daughter, like, she's so weird. When there's, like, a service guy out in the garage, she's like, I want to say hi. And I'm like, okay, let's go say hi. Sometimes she stands, like, creepily in the door and just watches, but this time she was pretty good. But we watched, I think it was a Winnie the Pooh movie we watched. Yep. And like I said, we don't really do, like, we don't do episodic TV with her throughout the day. She gets one episode of Mickey at nighttime before bed. And it's not all nights, it's most nights. But it was fun to have the movie. But on Wednesday, we watched the movie. I filmed a couple videos. But when she woke up, Briar was like, I was like, what do you want for breakfast? And she's like, a burger. I'm like, well, we're not going to have a burger for breakfast. So I had the genius idea of, why don't we just do a McDonald's breakfast sandwich? Because that's like a breakfast burger. And she loves all those items like on their own, you know. And she seemed pretty excited about it. So we ended up getting her a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit. She was all excited that it was on a biscuit. She kept talking about it, and she's like, biscuit. I'm like, okay, I understand what a biscuit is. Biscuits are delicious. I like biscuits, like very emphasizing it. She's such a weirdo sometimes. I love her dearly. But that was quite the adventure, and she really enjoyed that. And then we got our HelloFresh box. If you guys are interested, I will link the HelloFresh video that we've done up in the eye. So I will say, while we really enjoy HelloFresh, I've been noticing recently we've been having a lot more issues with accuracy or missing items. So we were supposed to have the cheesy mushroom chicken, which I don't like chicken. Sue me. But this dish is delicious. I don't eat hamburgers. Like, that's one thing. I don't eat hamburgers, but I eat, like, ground beef and stuff like that. But I don't like chicken, but I will eat it, just very sparingly. So this is now, like, the third or fourth time we've ordered this, because my husband's like, oh, it's a chicken dish my wife likes, let's get it. So he went to make it the other day, and he's like, they sent us a recipe card and ingredients for turkey enchiladas. However, they only sent us the refrigerated ingredients and did not include tortillas. So he's like, well, I could do like an enchilada type thing with the chicken, but we don't have the tortillas. And I'm like, So we ended up not doing that. And it is what it is. But last week we had another issue with them. And like we just been having all these issues where we're not getting ingredients, or they're like sending us bad produce. And I'm like, you have somebody that packaged this 24 hours ago, which means they packaged a moldy tomato. So I don't know if they're just not paying attention, but I mean, if you guys are interested, I do have a referral code if you want to try out HelloFresh. It's probably the most glowing review you're gonna hear. Hey, they're forgetting stuff and they're being like super shitty foods, but here, try my code. Anyway, so we did that. And then I finished my Rainbow Fairy from Jazz Higgins, which I do have a post review for that. That will be going up after this video, unless there's, for some reason, I can't get this video up. So if you want to see the post review on that, keep your eyeballs peeled. I've got that and the post review for, oh my god, what was that called? Besties of Oz. They are both coming. They are both filmed. They are ready to go. So I'm super proud of myself, because they usually take forever to do post reviews. I feel like every content creator has videos that they like to film and videos that they don't like to film. Like, I like filming unboxings. They're fun. But then the aftermath of the unboxings are not fun. But I just don't like filming post reviews. Excuse me. And, I know I like watching other people's post reviews, because it gives you an idea of what to expect. Like, I can tell you what something looks like when I unbox it, but I can't tell you what the quality is really like until I sit down to work with it. Or you might not realize that, like, certain symbols together, they look fine until you actually have to put drills on them, or, you know, just different things like that. So, anyway, I was hoping to have it done on Tuesday so that I could have a finish for Knox's event. And my husband's Dremel died. It was already like after 11 o'clock. And I was like, you know what? I'll just finish it tomorrow. Well, the next day came and I sat down and it took me 11 minutes to finish. And I was like, damn it, I should have just finished it last night. So I finished that one in technically 8 days, but I feel like being like 7.1 days. Like it just took 11 minutes. You know? Ooh, my hair definitely just got sucked in the fan there. If you guys don't know, I have super long hair, and I just have it, the fan, clipped onto the edge of the table next to me, so that's fun. But, what do we do? Then I also went live on Wednesday, which I feel like I've been so out of the loop of going live on Instagram. Like, I used to do it multiple times a week, and I want to get back to doing it more regularly, especially when the, DP Monster Mash collab starts. I'll definitely be going live more. Where did that drill just go? I had a drill that was smaller than the others, and I just dropped it right back in. Here we go. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. And if you guys, I've said this before, but if you guys ever want me to go live on Instagram on a day, just let me know. If it works with my schedule, I will absolutely do it. I can only do it during the hours that I normally record or go live. So, you know, if you're like, hey, it's 11 o'clock in the morning, will you go live? Like, I'll go live at 1:30, I'll go live at 2 o'clock, but I can't go live at 11. But yeah, just let me know. And I've had a few people do that, and they'll be like, hey, I'm really bored. You think you can go live and we can have a bunch of people hanging out? I'm like, absolutely. I'd love that. That's one of the reasons why I don't do live on Instagram. I mean, on Facebook.
YouTube.
On YouTube, thank you. Because I really just fly by the seat of my pants. I don't adhere to any sort of schedule. I don't really plan things out. And very rarely when I go live do I announce beforehand that I'm going live. Like, I literally just go live. And it's usually one of those things, like, I have a feeling for it, and then I just go. So, but I love going live. And it's fun interacting with other people. But, I did that, and then I kitted down a bunch of things, because I had to kit down like 3 things just so I could kit up for this canvas. So I'm doing this for the Mexican DP along, and then I will be doing Warm Witch for Drills and Chills and Festivals, or Festival of Witches. And I'll be doing the Monster kit from TSA for Monster Mash. That one's a 50 by 50, so I'm going to kind of like work on it a little bit more sparingly so that I can let it play out for the whole event. But like, this should not take me very long. I'm on day 3, and I have almost the whole bottom section, well, most of the bottom section done. Let me take a sip of water real quick. I feel like my cup matches. But so yeah, I had to kit down like 3 kits. I much prefer kitting up to kitting down. Do you guys like either, both, or neither? Let me know down below. I definitely prefer kitting up. But because the Monster Mash is in baggies, I was like, maybe I can just work out of baggies. Yeah, so anyway, I did that. And then Thursday, we had this genius plan. We live near Hershey Park, which is an amusement park in Hershey. If you guys are interested in like history and things like that, there's a really interesting book. I forget the name of it, but it is about Milton Hershey, who is the man who created Hershey's chocolate, and the history of Hershey's. Is it Hershey's versus Mars?
Yeah.
And it's really interesting because, so Milton Hershey was a man that had no family. And there is the Milton Hershey School here, which was originally for kids who had been orphaned, for them to have an opportunity to receive a better education. But Hershey Park was originally created as a family place that his employees could go. So his employees could take their families on their day off and enjoy a day at the amusement park. He never built it for profit, and it is definitely for profit. So, if you ever go to Hershey Park, there is the park, there is the zoo, which is, like, seriously, no exaggeration, the shittiest zoo I've ever been to. And, I mean, it's sufficient, but, like, I would never drive out of my way to go there. Especially because the Philadelphia Zoo is only, like, an hour and a half away, and that's a fantastic zoo. Anyway, so you have Hershey Park, the zoo, and then you have what's called Chocolate World. Chocolate World is the big shop where you can buy all of the different Hershey's chocolates. You can buy whatever the seasonal flavor of Kit Kats and Hershey Kisses. Yeah, you can get when they have the different flavored Twizzlers are all there. It's really cute. And then there's an actual, like, cafeteria, I want to call it. I don't want to call it a cafe because it's definitely more cafeteria. But anyway, we had not been to Chocolate World since pre-pandemic. And then we tried to go once, like in the last month maybe. And the park was still open 7 days a week for the season. And it was a madhouse. So we opted to not do that. So we pulled up and we were like, oh my God, there's like no cars in the parking lot. This is perfect. Oh, they also have a free ride. I'm going to say that with major air quotes because really what it is you sit in a stationary car that's on a track. And then there is like animatronic stuff and you get a tour in major air quotes of the factory, which, yeah, so we did that, and like I said, it's been a while. But the point of what we were going to do is because Briar had asked for a burger the day before, they opened up this new restaurant called The Chocolatier, which we have not been to yet because of the park being open. And it is open year-round, and it does not require a ticket. Like, you don't need entry into the amusement park. So we were like, okay, we're going to go over to Chocolate World, and then we're going to go and check out the Chocolatier for lunch. And we did Chocolate World, which is funny because, like, Briar in the moment did not seem into it at all. But then for the last couple of days, she's been like, I had so much fun at Chocolate World. And I'm like, oh, okay. Let me just... She seemed into it. When she was a baby, I'm just going to explain this for people who are not local to where I live. Moms are desperate to do stuff with their kids, and Chocolate World is one of those things that it is free, it is heated or air conditioning depending on the season, and you can spend a little bit of time there or a lot of time there depending on what you want to do. Can't tell you how many times I've gone with my daughter and sat on the ride like 3-4 times in a row, and I'm like, can we just go again? And they're like, yeah. So for Briar, she hadn't been in a long time, and when she was little, like, you can bring strollers in, but you can't take them up to the ride, so people would just baby wear and just sit on the ride, and it was lights and sounds and all these things that babies like. And then we just kept doing it until the pandemic hit, and it wasn't the place we wanted to be. So we did that, and then we walk over to the Chocolatier, and I'm like, are we in the right place? Because we had never been there, and there are all these signs on the doors of this building, and each one had an arrow until you finally got to, like, the end of the row, and then it was like, closed. And I'm like, I don't understand. And I looked it up online, and it said it was open. I'm like, well, it's clearly not open. And so we actually went to their Facebook page, and because of the storm, they had decided that they were going to be closed. Now, I have a friend who works there, and she's like, wait, Chocolate World was open? And I said, yeah. And she goes, they made it seem like if Chocolate World was closed, we were closed. If Chocolate World was open, we were open. And I was like, well, I don't know what to tell you. Chocolate World was very much like up and running, and they had their tours going, because you can do one of those little trolley tours through Hershey and learn about the history of the area and the landmarks and stuff like that. And we had thought about it. I'm like, well, my husband's like, well, why don't we go, which would have been the next day. And I'm like, because the park was open Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday because of the holiday weekend. And then they'll be closed again during the week and then reopen on the weekend for a couple weeks. And then they go to like their Halloween horror fest or whatever the hell they call it. And so we never ended up making it to the burger place. But we ended up at a different burger joint, which was like 35 minutes away. My husband looked it up. He's like, well, this looks really highly rated. And like, she just really wanted a burger. So he wanted to do something special. And this kid had the worst attitude. Like, everything was wrong. Everything pissed her off. And I was like, so glad we drove all this way for you to have a shit attitude. So that was fun and exciting. But, you know, there's always tomorrow. This kid has been in rare form. I know we just had a full moon recently, so I know that's not what it is. But yeah, we did that. And then the next day, we went to Dave & Buster's. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Dave & Buster's. Dave & Buster's is a arcade that also has a restaurant. It had been many, many, many years since I've been to a Dave & Buster's. My dad used to take me to the one on in Philly, down by Penn's Landing. And I remember as a kid going and being like, oh my God, this is the most amazing day ever. Like, I loved going. I loved going with my brothers. My husband and I had gone like pre-baby on like a date to Dave & Buster's and, you know, ate the food. So we got a seat and there were so many lights, so many sounds. And I was prepared for the sensory dump that should have but did not happen with my kid. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, if you have a kid who goes to school and they do really, really great in school and then they come home and literally just like everything falls apart. They're overwhelmed. They're wound up. They're really angry. They're really anxious. They're like tons of movement. Not their norm. Did you cut yourself?
No, I'm just
okay.
Boxes.
You guys, he had a look on his face, and last time he did that, he cut himself, and I was like,
looking over here and pressing down on boxes.
But,
no, I'm not using my knife.
Okay, so we were just prepared for it to happen, and it never did, and I was really, really happy that it didn't, but we took her to play a few games, just a few games, and then we walked around the mall. She did a fantastic job. I was really, really impressed. But we had so much fun. It was a very eventful week. And then, of course, she's the kind of kid, like, you do one thing, and then she goes, okay, what are we doing next? Nothing. We're going to go home. What? Yeah, kid, we just went to an arcade for an hour. We went to the mall. We did this. We did that. But, we did all of those things this week. And then Saturday and Sunday, we just vegged because we can't do everything all the time, but my husband and I are kind of, I don't want to say subconsciously because it's pretty conscious at this point. We are trying to squeeze in some things before it gets too cold for us to do fun outdoor activities and before social engagements are no longer happening. I know some people out there don't agree with that, but I want to prepare myself because the last thing I need to do is be trapped in my home over the winter because we're put on another lockdown and I have a child who desperately needs that social engagement but isn't able to have it. So I'm trying to load her up with fun memories and things to do now. We kind of discussed today. I will talk about this, I guess, a little bit in depth in another video, but we were thinking about maybe road tripping to the Mall of America. It wouldn't be till next year. And it wouldn't be in the winter because I don't know about you guys, but I don't really want to be in freezing cold temperatures in Minnesota, nor do I want to drive cross country in winter conditions. I don't even like driving in winter conditions like where I live, so that's fun. But they have a Nickelodeon universe inside the mall and an aquarium and a bunch of stuff that we could make this like a fun trip. We would have to drive, and it's a 16-hour drive, so this would be something we really have to consider. But this is the kind of trip that we could do, like a big trip for her, that doesn't involve us having to get on an airplane, because that was a terrible experience. If anyone has ever flown with a child and it was positive, I'm envious, because last time we flew with Briar, which was now 2 years ago, was horrific. To put it nicely, it was horrific, and I don't desire that again. I don't. But also, then we don't have to worry about renting a car. We don't have to worry about traveling with a car seat, and we could stop along and do a lot of like roadside attractions. You know, like the world's biggest ball of yarn and things like that. And I think she would love that, but we have to find a time that would work, that my husband could take that kind of time off from his business. And like, unfortunately, December would be great for us to do it, because most people get their orders in for the holidays, and then he has a little bit of a lull because people will message him on like December 15th and be like, hey, can I get an order for Christmas? The answer is no. It's just not going to happen. Even if he could make it in one day, which is not possible. If you guys don't know, my husband customizes Funko Pops. He is the DaddaMonster. All of his information is always listed down below. But even if he could, the United States Postal Service last year shut off holiday orders by December 5th. Also, didn't tell people that it was December 5th till about a week and a half later, which was super fun when they were like, oh, by the way, all holiday shipments needed to be in by December 5th. And it was like December 12th or 17th or something like that. But, so yeah, but this is super spur of the moment kind of conversations. But, if you guys have been to Mall of America and the surrounding area and you think it's worth it, or you don't think it's worth it, let me know down below. I really, really want to spark this conversation with you guys for people the people who've done this before, because obviously I've never been there. I think it's also super cool. I grew up with a large mall. King of Prussia was the closest mall to me growing up. And King of Prussia is, I believe, it is currently the second largest mall. But to put things into perspective, King of Prussia is 2.9 million square feet. Mall of America is 5.6 million square feet. There's a freaking amusement park and an aquarium and a Crayola experience inside the Mall of America.
And the mall.
And a mall, yeah. So I'm totally fascinated by it. Is this high on our priority list of places we want to take my kid? Not necessarily, but it seems like it has a bunch of stuff that she would love. And we will not be going to Disney until we can do character meets, because there's no point in us taking her and her not being able to give Minnie a hug or Tiana a hug. Like, we want those memories to be there, not the people she loves the most being hidden behind a rope, or, and I also want the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique to be open so she can get her little princess makeover. So, and yes, I am getting emotional about it, because if you guys didn't know, we had a trip planned and paid in full for March 2020, and obviously that didn't happen. And unfortunately for that trip, my daughter would have been free because she was under 3 at that point, and now we are, around the corner from her 4th birthday. So, it sucks, but we are, as parents, trying to do the best to keep things as normal as possible for my kid, while still being safe and socially distancing and wearing a mask and doing all of that fun stuff. And, my kid deserves to enjoy her childhood, whether there is a pandemic happening or not. And so this is one way we're trying to get around it, by thinking of things we can do that are outside the box, but that will still leave memories that she and we as a family can have forever. So, let's see. We are right about the hour mark now. So I am going to bid you all adieu. But I just want to say thank you guys so much. Looking at my subscriber count, and I am so close to hitting my goal of 1,000 subscribers. So if you guys have any friends, families, neighbors, enemies, whoever that you think would enjoy my content, please make sure to share this video and my channel with those around you. It does help me out so much, and I greatly appreciate it. To each and every person who continues to come back and watch my videos, I wouldn't be making videos if it weren't for people like you. So if you guys enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more like this, or, you know, nothing like this at all, please make sure to give this video 2 thumbs up. 1 real life, 1 virtual. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Come, join the Sparkle Squad. And while you're there, make sure you hit that notification button. Make sure you hit that notification button.
Ding!
I do not upload on any sort of schedule. I operate on toddler standard time, and I record when my tiny human is sleeping or sleeping. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye, guys!